Hey, what's going down, y'all? I go by Rich Mitch. This is my first video on my new barber channel. Actually, my second video, but my first one is just my setup. Y'all could go check out that if you want, see what I'm using. But this is my first tutorial, so I don't know how good it's gonna be. But basically, this is a Zac Efron style haircut. That's the reference pic my client showed me, so that's why I call it that. But we're gonna start by just going with my number 2 guard, using the Speedos and my Wall Seniors. We're gonna go with our number 2 guard, and we're going pretty much to the top of his ear. We're making sure we're flicking out. This is our first guideline. Now this is a fairly easy haircut. He has a lot of hair on top, so we're gonna do some more blending work once we get to the ridge of his head. So now this is my number 3 guard, and we have it open right now. And I'm pretty much going up about 1 inch. Just fading up, make sure I'm flicking out. And our highest guard will be a number 4 in this haircut, so this 3.5 is blending right into that. Now sorry about the camera angles. Like I said, I don't have a cameraman, I don't have a tripod. This is my first video, so bear with me. And now we're closing the blade, and we're pretty much going right under that, just cleaning it up. Alright, so now we got our number 4 guard on, and we're starting open. The reason we're going so high is because we're trying to blend this into his hair on top. Now granted, this won't blend it all the way in, which is why we need to do some scissor over comb or clipper over comb, but this is going to get pretty close and give us an idea of what we're doing. So we're taking this pretty much to the ridge of his head, don't go any further, and we want more of an undercut look in this, so I'm lifting his hair up and I'm cleaning up right under it, but keep in mind we're not going any further than that ridge. As you can see, I'm lifting up the hair, cleaning it up. So now we did the same thing. We're just closing the blade and we're cleaning up right under that. And all this bulk you see around his head, we're gonna get to that with scissor over comb. Alright, so now my client wants his hair thinned out and he wants it texturized on top. So what we're doing is we're wetting his hair and we're combing it down, and we're gonna get the razor and actually thin this out just at the tips in the front of his hair. This is gonna add texture, and it's gonna allow him to do that pokey, like texturized top that he likes. And now I combed it all down, and I'm basically taking off the top layer of his hair with my razor. And to further texturize it, make it look even better, we're just getting the tips of his hair with the razor, just the tips. And this is gonna leave it more texturized. It'll give it a dope look. So now we're getting into scissor over comb. All you want to do for this is do a technique called slow comb fast shear, and basically you just lift the hair up with your comb and right up and pretty much just cut anything that's coming to the comb. So you're just feeding the hair to the scissors is basically what it is. Any line you see, you're gonna want to take that out using this. Alright, and so now that we cleaned it up and we gave us some room to see what we're doing with scissor over comb, I'm putting back on my foreguard, and I'm blending it into the ridge again, into his hair. And as you can see, I'm picking it up with the comb, and I'm literally just going across it with the guard on to get the tips and that little line that it's leaving. There's still a little bit of a line, so we're just cleaning that up with the guard. You want to be careful around that cowlick. Make sure you don't cut it too short. That's a dangerous area. So now this is basically just to check my work and to make sure my fade is perfect and that everything is blended in correctly. I start fading down. So as you can see, I close my number 4. And this is actually my number 3. And I'm going downwards. I'm fading downwards. Now I got my number 2 open. This is fading right into that 3, and we're just blending down. Double checking our work. So now it's closed, and as you can see, I'm taking my time on his neck because, you know, this is a good shot of it. It's wild. He has cowlicks that grow crazy. His neck does not grow in one direction, so it's really hard to blend. As you can see, I'm turning my clipper to go against the grain of his hair. And this is a little something I like to do. I basically get my comb and I comb upwards so that way his hair falls into my clipper, and it's pretty much feeding the hair into my clipper. And it'll take out cowlicks easier. It's a good method to try. And so I did a consultation with my client, and I told him since his neck is so wild, he might want to consider a taper, and he went with it. So all we're doing is creating our foundation and our guideline, which is basically just me cleaning up his taper. We're not completely lining it up yet, but we're giving it, you know, just a good guideline to start with. And I have my trimmers set perfectly to where, you know, I could have these against the neck. I could have these, you know, I could press hard if I want to, and these won't irritate. So to get his taper ready, he wants a light taper. He wants it nice and natural. He doesn't want a bald taper. He doesn't want to take it too high. He just wants a natural looking light taper. So all we're doing to get it ready is we're taking our one guard open. Keep in mind our lowest guard is a number 2, so this blends right into that, and then I'm closing it, and I'm taking my time with that neck, and I'm just trying to blend it perfectly. And you know, this makes it easier for us when we come in with no guard. As you can see right now, I have no guard, blade all the way open. It's just going to be easier to do this rather than going in there with no guard when there's still a lot of hair. So I'm blending perfectly, and now I'm going with my one guard again, blending up. And with the Speedos, your one guard is actually equivalent to a 1/16 when it's closed, so you don't need the blending guard. This is why I like the Speedos so much. It cuts down time, and it's just more effective. See him flicking out still, making sure it's perfect. And now we're getting our 2 guard and just cleaning it up. This is, you know, like I said, our lowest guard, so all we're doing is cleaning it up. And now we're gonna start lining up his hooks, and he wants a natural looking lineup. He doesn't really want, you know, me to take it in, obviously, and he just wants it to look as the best it can without me having to do anything where I have to push it back. So all I'm doing is I'm taking my time. A lot of barbers don't like to do this, man. They just like to get a lineup done in 2 minutes. And me, I take my time on my lineups, especially when it's in a regular hairline like this. My client does have an irregular hairline, so what I'm doing is I'm cleaning it up, and I'm trying to get that hook as perfect as possible. And this shot right here, you can't really see what I'm doing on the other side, but I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I just want to include this shot so y'all can see the taper, see how it looks. It's a dope fade. So all I'm doing is I'm cleaning up his hook, same thing. I'll make sure I'm combing it down to get all the little baby hairs that are poking out. And so after all this, my client decided he did want to take off some hair on top. So I'm just taking off 1/4 inch. And as you can see, I'm starting with the front of his hair, and then I blend the sides in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a method called the T method. I learned this from Blenzino. And basically, you just go straight down the middle, across the middle. And it'll leave a guideline, so that way all you have to do after doing this is just follow that guideline through the hair. So it's real easy. It makes cutting the top faster, especially if you have some good shears. I get mine sharpened, so these cut really nice. And I'm just taking off 1/4 inch. He doesn't want to take off too much. So now, to give his hair some more character and to further texturize it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wet his hair again, and I'm taking my comb and my texturizing shears, or my thinning shears, and I'm basically just getting the tips of his hair. I'm lifting it up with the comb. I'm just getting the tips of his hair and cutting. You don't want to start too low, because then it'll be cutting bulk. But if you just get the tips, it's just going to add a lot more texture, and it's going to bring it to life more. It's going to look way better, especially if your client wants a texturized top. So now we're going to start the styling. What I'm doing is I'm adding some mousse in his hair. This is basically just going to give it a light hold and some volume. And now I'm using my blow dryer and my brush to lift up the front, give that some more volume, and I get just enough pomade for the tips of my fingers, and I give it that pokey, like I call it like a PC type of look. It's the right look, trust me, and it looks dope. Right here, I see a little curl that is poking out, and I thought it was to the top of his hair, but it was actually hanging over his lineup, and he doesn't want his front line lined up. So all I'm doing is I'm getting my scissors, and I'm cleaning up any hairs that are hanging over. Keep in mind, he does want it natural, but you also don't want him to leave with baby hairs hanging over. So be careful when you do this. You don't want to go stabbing your client in the forehead. You just want to go right across with your scissors. And so this is the completed cut. I like it. He loved it. You can see the taper. It's looking extra crispy. So thank y'all for watching. Make sure y'all subscribe. This is my first video, like I said. So make sure y'all tell me how I did. Give me some feedback, good or bad. And just let me know what y'all think. Let me know if y'all want more. Definitely going to put out more soon. So make sure y'all subscribe so you don't miss anything. I appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all next time. Peace.